The story begins by showing John Triton, a skilled Marine, leading a mission to rescue hostages in war-torn Iraq. Tasked with waiting for reinforcements before engaging the enemy, John finds himself facing a moral dilemma when the terrorists threaten to execute the captives. Driven by his unwavering commitment to protecting innocent lives, John defies his superiors' orders and launches a daring assault on the terrorists. Despite being left-handed, his remarkable skills enable him to eliminate the entire enemy force and successfully bring the hostages to safety. The following day, back at the military base, John is summoned by the colonel. With a mix of admiration and regret, the colonel presents John with an honorable discharge letter from the Marine Corps. Although John's insubordination led to his dismissal, his actions in saving the hostages remain a source of pride for him. He had given his all for the country he loves. Returning home to California, John is warmly greeted by his loving wife, Kate. Their reunion provides a brief respite from the intensity of John's military career. However, their peaceful existence is soon disrupted when a notorious criminal named Rome and his henchman, Vasera, target a high-end jewelry store. Rome's intentions are far from innocent, as he plans to steal a rare diamond worth a staggering $12 million. Inside the jewelry store, chaos ensues as Rome creates a diversion with the assistance of his accomplices, who pose as unsuspecting customers. Encountering an obstacle in the form of bulletproof glass protecting the valuable gem, Rome resorts to desperate measures. He takes a woman hostage, forcing the employees behind the glass to comply with his demands. Unbeknownst to everyone, the captive woman is Angela, Rome's girlfriend and a member of his criminal enterprise. After seizing the diamond, Rome cold-bloodedly eliminates an officer who recognizes him, further escalating the tension. As Rome and his gang attempt to flee the scene, a gunshot unintentionally shatters the calm, striking a police car that had just arrived. The situation intensifies as Rome's accomplice, Morgan, opens fire on the approaching law enforcement vehicles, plunging the surroundings into panic and chaos. In a different setting, John embarks on a fresh start as a security guard at a prestigious corporation, accompanied by his partner, Joe. Their routine is disrupted when a wealthy and haughty man, accompanied by his two imposing bodyguards, enters the office. The sight of this pompous individual makes John feel disenchanted with his seemingly mundane job, unlike Joe, who appears content with minimal responsibilities and a steady paycheck. Suddenly, a distress call emanates from the 12th floor. It appears that the wealthy man has physically assaulted his former girlfriend, who was discovered to have an affair with her boss. Acting in their capacity as security guards, John and Joe rush to intervene and put a halt to the man's abusive behavior. However, instead of complying, the man becomes incensed, forcing John to physically restrain him and escort him downstairs. In an unfortunate turn of events, the man instructs his bodyguards to engage in a physical confrontation with John. To John's surprise, he swiftly overpowers them, albeit causing unintended damage to the company's property in the process. The severity of John's actions proves to be a source of outrage, leading to his immediate dismissal from his newfound job, despite it being his first day. Upon returning home, John attempts to conceal the incident from his wife, Kate. However, fate intervenes as Kate accidentally stumbles upon news coverage of the security guard's altercation involving John. Concerned and seeking to understand what transpired, Kate empathetically decides to take John on a rejuvenating vacation to the serene Cedar Hills, hoping to provide solace and alleviate the burden weighing on his mind. In the meantime, Rome, who managed to flee with Angela, receives a mysterious call from an anonymous individual. This unknown person demands that Rome hand over the stolen diamond in exchange for a hefty sum of $6 million. The following day, John and Kate embark on their journey to Cedar Hill. Along the way, Kate reveals her desire to visit the beach, while John longs for the serene landscapes of Cedar Hill. They make a pit stop at a gas station to refuel, coincidentally crossing paths with Rome and his associates, who are also refueling. Suddenly, a police car pulls up to refuel as well, sending a wave of panic through Rome and his crew, who are still on edge from the diamond heist. Thankfully, the police officers fail to recognize Rome as the culprit, but Morgan impulsively shoots one of the officers. Faced with this unexpected turn of events, Rome is compelled to shoot another officer who remains inside the patrol car. Startled by the sound of gunshots, John instinctively takes cover. However, he is struck by Bennett, one of Rome's men. In the chaos, Angela eliminates a witness by shooting the store clerk. With their getaway car's tires punctured, Rome and his accomplices are forced to hijack John's vehicle and take Kate hostage, using her as leverage in case of a siege. Despite his injuries, John summons the strength to rise to his feet. Morgan purposefully fires a bomb, triggering a massive explosion. Miraculously, John survives the blast and swiftly aids one of the surviving police officers. Determined to bring Rome to justice, John commandeers a police car and utilizes the radio to report the ongoing incident. Along the way, Angela accidentally stumbles upon Kate's bag, discovering an identification card that reveals she is married to a Marine. Initially assuming that her husband perished in the explosion, Kate dismisses it as inconsequential. However, their relief is short-lived as John's pursuing car comes into view. Without hesitation, Bennett and Morgan open fire on John's vehicle, overwhelming him with a barrage of bullets. When they traverse through an area plagued by ongoing road construction, the turbulent conditions cause the upper cabin of John's car to detach. Eventually, Rome's car comes to a halt due to an impassable river blocking their path. Seizing the opportunity, John, driven by instinct rather than contemplation, forcefully collides his car into theirs. The impact sends both vehicles plunging into the river, submerging John and his car, leading to a tragic drowning. Believing John to have perished, Kate is overcome with sorrow, compounded by the realization that their car is irreparably damaged. Rome, recognizing the risk of being discovered by the authorities, chooses to navigate the periphery of the swamp, making it difficult for the police to locate them. Meanwhile, a determined detective named Van Buren arrives at the gas station, responding to a previous report submitted by John. Upon reaching the location where John's car is submerged, the resilient John emerges, informing Van Buren about his wife's abduction at the hands of Rome. Driven by an unwavering resolve, John expresses his intention to search for Kate's whereabouts. However, Van Buren, bound by protocol, denies John permission as the case has already been assigned to the police. Despite the detective's admonitions, John pays no heed to his words, driven by desperation to rescue Kate, and embarks on a perilous quest to evade capture and reunite with his beloved. As Rome and his companions navigate the treacherous swamp, Kate musters her fighting skills, attempting to resist their captivity. However, her valiant efforts are swiftly quelled by Bennett and Angela. The disturbance infuriates Morgan, provoking the weary Vesera to express his frustrations. In a fit of rage, Morgan, unable to tolerate Vesera's dissent, inexplicably shoots him, leaving everyone stunned. Amidst their journey through the mangrove forest, Rome receives a call from the individual awaiting the diamond. However, defying expectations, Rome decides to retain the precious gem for himself, deeming the offered price inadequate in light of the risks he faces and the ongoing pursuit by law enforcement in his home country. In the meantime, the police commence their descent into the swamp, monitoring the area from helicopters in search of Rome and his comrades. Simultaneously, John ventures alone through the murky terrain, stumbling upon Vesera's discarded knife at the edge of a tree. Drawing upon his marine training and experience, John discerns the trail left by Rome, instilling a glimmer of hope that Kate is still alive. When John delves deeper into the dense forest, he becomes ensnared in a trap, caught in a net from below. With swift thinking and his survival instincts intact, John manages to free himself from the entanglement. However, his relief is short-lived, as a man emerges, aiming a gun at him, accusing John of being a policeman. John explains his true purpose to find his kidnapped wife, but before he can make further progress, another man appears from behind, delivering a powerful blow that renders John unconscious. Upon regaining consciousness, John finds himself bound and confined within a warehouse. In a harrowing twist of fate, it becomes evident that the men present are not mere kidnappers, but hunters and drug dealers. Mistakenly believing John to be a relentless police officer in pursuit, they subject him to relentless beatings, refusing to accept his protests of innocence. Faced with their unwavering skepticism, John resorts to deception, falsely claiming to be a cop and warning of imminent police arrival, courtesy of a tracking device embedded in his person. The men, gripped with fear, become hesitant, providing John with an opportunity to overpower one of them and break free from his restraints. Seizing the moment, John swiftly subdues the other assailant, allowing him to escape in search of Kate. After an arduous journey, John manages to rediscover their trail, leading him to a cottage nestled on the edge of the swamp. Inside, Rome and his accomplices take a brief respite, discussing their plans while awaiting the arrival of Rome's associate from Miami. Rome instructs Morgan to locate a generator to illuminate the cottage. As Morgan ventures beneath the cottage to rectify the power situation, he becomes the focus of John's surprise ambush. Engaged in a fierce and desperate duel, the two adversaries clash until John ultimately triumphs, dispatching Morgan with a lethal strike from his dagger. With the plan in motion, Rome steps outside to make arrangements for a getaway vehicle to the port, ensuring a swift escape. A boat is also needed for their escape route, prompting Rome to assign Bennett with the task of procuring a usable vessel. Seizing the moment, John launches a surprise attack on Bennett as he exits the cottage, engaging in a fierce struggle. Determined to protect himself and save Kate, John unleashes all his strength, ultimately overpowering Bennett and delivering a forceful blow that proves fatal. After eliminating Bennett, John conceals the bodies of Bennett and Morgan beneath the cottage. However, in an unexpected turn of events, Detective Buren arrives at the scene, intending to offer assistance to John. Seizing the opportunity, John and Buren collaborate to deactivate the generator, creating a momentary blackout. During the ensuing chaos, Kate seizes the chance to escape from their captors. Sadly, Angela quickly pursues Kate, successfully apprehending her once again. As the tension reaches its peak, John forcefully enters the cottage, only to be met with a hail of bullets from Rome's gun. Simultaneously, Detective Buren arrives on the scene, aiming his weapon at Rome. In a shocking turn of events, Buren betrays John, redirecting his gun toward him, and confesses that his true intention all along was to acquire the diamond from Rome. Seizing a fleeting opportunity, John instinctively utilizes Buren's body as a shield when Rome starts firing at them. Amidst the chaos, Rome manages to escape with Angela and Kate. However, before their departure, Rome shoots a gas cylinder, causing the cottage to explode. Miraculously, John survives the ordeal by leaping into the nearby river. With Kate locked in the trunk of Buren's car, Rome flees the scene. Meanwhile, John, struggling in the river, unexpectedly encounters a swamp policeman who orders him to come out of the water. Sensing imminent capture, John musters his strength and fights back, overpowering the officer. Taking possession of the officer's weapons, John commandeers his boat, determined to pursue Rome and rescue Kate. When they continue their escape, Rome realizes the need to abandon the detective's van, as its conspicuous nature makes them easy targets for police recognition. Angela seizes the opportunity to halt a passing truck and, using her charm, swiftly dispatches the driver. Meanwhile, aboard the ship, John overhears a radio report detailing the murder of a truck driver, leaving no doubt in his mind as to who is responsible. In due course, night falls, and John arrives at the port, spotting a truck amidst the chaos caused by Kate's defiance. Seizing the moment, John leaps onto the truck and manages to forcefully remove Angela, leading to a collision with an oncoming bus. In the midst of the chaos, Rome attempts to shoot John, but Kate intervenes, causing her to drop her weapon. Rome resorts to desperate measures, recklessly crashing into huts in an attempt to dislodge John from the truck. Yet, against the odds, John manages to withstand the onslaught until finally being propelled from the truck when it crashes into a building. Amidst the chaos, the collision triggers a massive explosion, engulfing the surroundings in flames. Kate, still trapped within the uncontrollable truck, hurtles into the river. Determined to save her, John races after the plunging vehicle, but Rome intercepts him, launching a relentless assault that forces John to the ground. Locked in a fierce duel, the intensity escalates as a nearby building collapses, delivering a crushing blow to John. Seizing the moment, Rome aims to deliver the final blow, grabbing a hammer and arming himself with a menacing chainsaw. In a stroke of fortune, John manages to ward off Rome's savage attack, summoning every ounce of strength and resilience within him. Drawing upon his combat experience, honed from past battles, John engages Rome, ultimately gaining the upper hand. With a swift kick, John propels Rome into the roaring fire, bringing an end to his adversary's life-threatening assault. Without hesitation, John plunges into the river and frantically swims to Kate's unconscious form. Desperate to revive her, he resurfaces while tirelessly attempting to restore her breathing, refusing to give up on her life. Shortly after, Kate finally regains consciousness, her life is saved, and a wave of relief washes over John. However, their respite is short-lived as Rome resurfaces, his face marred by wounds sustained in their earlier confrontation. With renewed fury, Rome launches an assault on John, wielding a chain as his weapon. Yet, demonstrating his resourcefulness and quick thinking, John manages to reverse the attack, expertly throwing the chain and snapping Rome's neck. Rome lies lifeless, his reign of terror ended. In the aftermath, John and Kate find solace in each other's embrace, relieved to be reunited. Their moment of reunion is disrupted by the arrival of law enforcement officers, who begin to descend upon the scene. The couple is now faced with the imminent presence of the authorities, bringing a sense of closure to their arduous and perilous journey. The moral of the story is that even in the midst of explosive adventures and dramatic confrontations, it's always important to remember that running away with diamonds is not a recommended career choice.